The third component of prompting is conversational flow. This is optional but powerful for structured tasks. A conversational flow is a series of steps for the agent to follow in the conversation to achieve its mission. Not all AI agents will require a guided conversational flow, but if the AI gambit has to perform a complex task which is made up of subtasks and those tasks require the user's input or the user has a role to play there, then having a conversational flow makes it easier for the agent to achieve its goals. Adding a conversational flow also means that the agent will try to guide the conversation by default, and so it can appear a little less natural, but it also adds more structure. This becomes really useful when you're using a single AI agent gambit or a Q&A gambit that connects back to itself. Let's take an example. Here is an AI agent for generating newsletters. It has a pretty simple workflow in the backend, but in the front end, we can first see what kind of experience it gives the user. So right off the bat, the agent introduced herself as Linda and is asking me to copy and paste the base content of the newsletter. I am just going to go ahead and paste from the Slack messages, and I'm sure she can figure out the rest. Now, Linda has correctly assumed that I am trying to make a product newsletter and just wants me to confirm it. Now, Linda wants to analyze my website for brand consistency, so I'm just going to give her the company website. Wonderful, she gave a pretty good analysis and now I need to decide the length. So I'm going to pick short just for this example. For the CTA, let's just keep it to try it now. And notice how Linda offers numbered options, so I don't need to type everything all over again. And great, she generated a quick newsletter for me to send out. There are more steps in this conversation, but this will do for now. So let's go into the backend. I'm going to show you a little hack about getting into the backend. If the agent is in your account and you're signed in, then just add admin before the hello tars in the URL. And here we are. Isn't it amazing how simple this workflow is? And what's even more amazing is how a single AI agent gambit would actually function as an entire agent by itself and even use tools like Firecrawl to analyze my website's voice and tone, and later on use Ideogram to generate a newsletter banner for me. Now let's see how this single AI agent gambit was able to achieve all of this by taking a look at its prompt. So again, the first thing in any good prompt is to describe the agent's role and goals. After listing all her goals, you can see that there are stages to this conversation. This is a great hack to use for single gambit agents. If your agent needs to gather information before generating an output, then use a conversational flow with 3 stages. Stage 1 is for contextual awareness, to gather essential information. Stage 2 is confirmation, present its understanding back to the user, and stage 3 is generation, to create the final output. Keep it simple, maximum 3 stages. More stages lead to confused agents that start looping or malfunctioning. In Linda's case, she gets provided with the main content of the newsletter, whether it's an article, an email thread, meeting notes, Slack channel communications, it's all up to the user. Linda isn't aware that there is a basic gambit before her in the workflow with a structured message asking the user to share the content. In Linda's world, she just gets the content from the user without having to ask. Then we have instructions on how to ask questions and how to give numbered responses to these questions to make it easy for the user to answer. And finally, at the end of the instructions for each stage, The prompt clarifies the goal of the stage and lets Linda know when it's okay to move on from that stage, with instructions like once the newsletter type is confirmed, proceed to stage 2. Then, if we read through a bit on stage 2, there are certain parameters and actions that Linda should take based on how the user responds. The first example is that if the user gives a URL of their company, Linda has to take a certain action like use Firecrawl on their website. Another example lower down is that if the user wants to input their own CTA, then Linda should ask them to give her the CTA exactly. As you can see, a conversational flow can require a lot more detailing, especially when you're using the AI agent Gambit to perform complex tasks. In Linda's case, she may have to just create a newsletter, but to complete that task, she needs the base content, the user's preferences, and to write in the same voice as the user's company. Adding a conversational flow is just like adding a step-by-step guide for the agent to be able to complete its complex tasks.